Welcome back for another deep dive. You guys sent in some seriously fascinating research on AI and bacterial evolution.
Yeah, it's a really cool mix of research papers and some in-depth documentation about a specific AI framework.
Today, we're going to try to figure out if AI can really step into the role of a co-scientist.
And what that actually means, for the future of research.
So not just AI crunching numbers or analyzing data.
No, we're talking about AI that's like right there in the lab with the scientists coming up with brand new ideas.
Or even designing experiments.
Wow. Exactly. It's AI as a partner in the whole scientific process. And this research really digs into some pretty amazing examples of how this is already starting to happen.
Okay, so like that story in one of the papers, AI mirrors experimental science to uncover a novel mechanism of gene transfer crucial to bacterial evolution.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It talked about an AI system that actually predicted the findings of a cell paper, like a whole 5 years before the scientists even confirmed it experimentally.
5 years? That's wild.
Mind-blowing. So this AI, without any specific training in like phage or satellite biology,
Right, none at all.
it figured out something super important about how bacteria actually evolve.
And spread, too, yeah. Really crucial stuff.
So break it down for me. What exactly did the AI predict?
Okay, so it focused on these things called CFPICIs. They stand for capsid-forming phage-inducible chromosomal islands.
Catchy.
I know, right? But essentially, they're these little genetic hitchhikers that can jump between different bacteria.
Okay, like little packages of DNA that can move around. Why is that a big deal?
Well, because it means that bacteria can share genes way easier than we ever thought. So the AI predicted that CFPICIs could steal parts from viruses, these things called phages.
Because they're stealing parts.
Yeah, and using those stolen parts to infect a whole wider range of bacteria.
So it's like they're building themselves a new vehicle to spread to all these different bacterial species.
Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of scary, but also super cool. So did the scientists actually prove that the AI was right?
Oh, they did. They used this technique called cryo-EM.
Cryo-EM.
Yeah, and they were able to actually visualize these chimeric structures.
Okay, so they could see that the CFPICIs had combined with parts of the phages.
Right. And the AI predicted these structures before anyone had ever even seen them.
So it was basically peeking into the future of scientific discovery.
It really was.
Wow. So what does this mean then for how we understand like bacterial evolution?
It's a total game changer. It means that bacteria are constantly swapping genes, potentially even blurring the lines between different species.
Huh. So that makes you think about the spread of antibiotic resistance in a whole new way, right?
Oh, absolutely. It means we might need to completely rethink how we develop new antibiotics and figure out new ways to combat the spread of those resistant bacteria.
There's that specific example, too, of a CFPICI. It was called SEIGN02175, and they found it in 5 different bacterial genera.
And 7 different species, yeah.
That's a lot. So it's like they're breaking down those traditional boundaries between bacterial species.
It really is. This AI co-scientist is giving us a glimpse into this hidden world of genetic exchange. It's fascinating.
Totally. So how are these AI co-scientists even built? The document on the AGI framework that seems to be key here.
The AGI framework is all about creating these general-purpose AI systems.
What makes it different, though, from what we already have? Because we hear about these large language models, LLMs, all the time.
Right. Think of the AGI framework like an open-source blueprint for building advanced AI. It's super modular, which means you can combine all these different AI models and tools to create systems for really specific tasks.
So it's not just about language anymore. We're talking AI that can, I don't know, do all sorts of things.
Exactly. It's about AI that can take action, not just generate text. It's way more powerful than just your traditional LLMs. And it really emphasizes these ethical considerations, too.
Yeah, ethical considerations. Good point. I mean, I'm always a little worried about AI getting, too smart.
I hear you. And that's something we should definitely dive into a little deeper later on, yeah.
Okay, good. Because there's this other system, too, this deep research system. And it sounds like it could either be incredibly helpful or totally terrifying, honestly.
Oh, it's definitely fascinating. This one is built using the principles of the AGI framework. And it can actually browse the internet and process information like a researcher.
Wait a second, hold on. AI browsing the internet.
Yeah, and get this, it can even write and execute code.
Whoa. AI writing code. That is both amazing and a little scary at the same time. So what can it actually do?
Well, it's been shown to solve these complex cybersecurity challenges, generate really persuasive arguments, and even try to manipulate other AI models.
Really? Manipulate other AIs?
It's wild, but think about the possibilities for research. It could help us analyze massive data sets, uncover hidden patterns, potentially even lead to groundbreaking discoveries.
So on the one hand, it could be this powerful tool for good.
Absolutely. It has the potential to accelerate research in pretty much every field imaginable.
But then on the other hand, what if it falls into the wrong hands?
That's the big question, isn't it? It highlights the importance of responsible development and the need for these really strong safeguards to prevent misuse. But I think that conversation deserves its own section. We'll dive into that a bit later. For now, let's focus on the potential of AI as this co-scientist.
Yeah, you're right. Let's stick with that for now. But definitely keeping that question in the back of my mind. This is already more complex than I expected.
Oh, this is just the beginning. Wait till we get into the nitty-gritty details of how these systems actually work and the potential research avenues they're opening up. It gets even more interesting, trust me.
All right, all right. You've got me hooked. Let's
Yeah.
dive in. Okay, so we've seen how AI can, like, actually step into this role of a co-scientist.
And uncover these, really incredible insights about like bacterial evolution and stuff.
But we can't forget that technology, especially something this advanced, it's never perfect.
Oh, absolutely not. And the research definitely acknowledges that, there are still some hurdles to clear, some challenges for sure.
Yeah, like, how do we actually know if an AI is making, good hypotheses? Could it just be spitting out a bunch of scientific-sounding gibberish?
Right, right. That's a valid concern. I mean, one of the big challenges is figuring out how to actually evaluate these AI systems.
So, like, a report card for AI scientists, how do you even grade something like that?
It's tough. Right now, a lot of researchers use these, what they call ELO ratings. It's a system that's actually used for ranking players in like chess and other games.
So they're comparing scientific hypotheses to chess moves. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's not a perfect analogy, that's for sure. I mean, scientific discovery is way more complex than a game of chess.
For sure. And then there's the whole issue of bias too, right? Like, could the AI be making biased hypotheses based on the data it was trained on?
That's a huge consideration. We have to make sure that the data that's used to train these AI systems is diverse and representative to minimize the risk of bias creeping in.
Makes sense. Okay, so evaluation and bias, those are two big challenges. Anything else?
Well, there's this concept of adversarial robustness.
Adversarial what?
Robustness. Basically, can these AI systems, withstand attempts to manipulate or deceive them? Like, can they be tricked?
Yeah, I guess if someone really wanted to, they could try to trick the AI into generating bad hypotheses or like steering research in a specific direction for their own purposes.
Exactly. And it's something that the developers are actively working on, exploring different ways to make these systems more resilient to those kinds of attacks.
So it's like a constant arms race.
Yeah.
As these AI systems get more and more powerful, the potential threats also get more sophisticated.
It's a good way to put it. We have to be thinking ahead constantly, anticipating potential vulnerabilities and developing strong defenses, always staying one step ahead.
But even with those safeguards in place, it still kind of comes down to human oversight at the end of the day, right? Like,
Yeah.
these AI co-scientists, they're tools to help scientists, not replace them.
Oh, 100%. Human judgment and intuition are still absolutely crucial. Scientists need to be able to critically evaluate those hypotheses that the AI is generating, and then design experiments and interpret the results.
So it's a partnership, not a takeover.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right balance. How do we leverage the power of AI while maintaining human control over the whole scientific process? That's the key.
Right. Okay, now let's go back to the AGI framework for a second. It's designed to be open source, right? Which is amazing in terms of accessibility, but also, I don't know, a little bit risky.
It's true. Open sourcing the framework has its pros and cons, for sure.
Like, on the one hand, it allows anyone to, build these powerful AI systems, which could lead to tons of innovation and collaboration.
Exactly. It democratizes access to these advanced AI tools, which could potentially accelerate progress, like across the board in so many different fields.
But then on the other hand, it could also make it easier for people with, bad intentions to create AI systems for harmful purposes.
Right. That's a legitimate concern. And the developers are very aware of that risk. They're working on different ways to, mitigate that risk, to prevent that from happening.
So what kind of safeguards are they, like, actually putting in place?
Well, for one, they're really promoting this strong code of conduct. They're emphasizing the importance of responsible development, using these tools for good. And they're also encouraging a lot of community involvement to help shape the future of AGI.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about creating this community that's going to use it ethically.
Right. It's about fostering this culture of responsibility and ensuring these powerful tools are being used for the right reasons.
Okay, that makes sense. And then there's that deep research system, which can actually gather and analyze information like a superpowered research assistant.
Yeah.
It almost sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, it's a really impressive system. I mean, it really does have the potential to totally revolutionize how we do research.
But the documentation also mentions some, potential risks.
It does. There are always risks with powerful technology. One of the key ones they highlighted is this thing called prompt injection.
Prompt injection. Okay, what's that?
So basically, it's where someone tries to trick the AI into following their instructions, kind of steering it towards actions that could be harmful.
So even if the AI itself isn't, malicious, someone could kind of hijack it for their own agenda.
That's the concern. The developers are working on, safeguards to prevent that. But it's a constant challenge, staying ahead of those who might misuse the technology.
It's like this never-ending battle, right?
Yeah.
To stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
It can feel that way sometimes, but it's a battle worth fighting, given the incredible potential of these systems.
Okay, so preventing misuse is one thing.
Yeah.
But what about accountability? Like, if an AI system makes a mistake, who's responsible?
That's a tough one, a really complex question with no easy answers. It's definitely something that, we need to be thinking about more and more as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
It seems like there are all these, ethical and philosophical questions that come along with these advancements.
Absolutely. It's not just about the technology, it's about how we use it and the impact it has on society. That's the important part.
It makes me think about those chimeric infective particles, those CIPs we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You mentioned that they could blur the lines between the bacterial and viral worlds.
Right. And some of the research even suggests that they might not be limited to bacteria.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying they could potentially involve viruses that infect humans?
It's a possibility that researchers are exploring. They've actually found CIPs that combine components from different viruses, including some that are known to infect humans.
Whoa, okay, that's a little unsettling. So what are the implications of that? Does it mean we're more vulnerable to new diseases or something?
It's too early to say, for sure. But it's something we definitely need to investigate further. Understanding how these CIPs actually form could help us develop better strategies for preventing and controlling infectious diseases.
So it's both a potential threat and an opportunity for scientific advancement.
That's often the case with new discoveries, right? It's the nature of science. We get these new insights, but they often bring with them a whole new set of questions and challenges, and we have to figure those out.
Well, this deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about. We've gone from the amazing potential of these AI co-scientists to this, kind of unsettling world of CIPs. It's been a wild ride.
And we're not done yet. There's still more to explore. In the final part of our deep dive, we're going to delve even deeper into these ethical considerations surrounding AI in scientific research, and we'll talk more about the potential implications of CIPs. It'll be interesting, I promise.
Okay, I'm ready. Bring on part 3. This is getting really interesting. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into AI and bacterial evolution.
It's been quite a journey, right?
Yeah, from AI co-scientists to this, wild world of chimeric infective particles. It's a lot to take in.
We've uncovered some incredible insights, and I think raised some important questions along the way, too.
For sure. So let's zoom back in on those CIPs again, those chimeric infective particles.
Yeah, let's do it.
You were saying they could, blur the lines between the bacterial and viral worlds. And the paper we were looking at, chimeric infective particles expand species boundaries in phage-inducible chromosomal island mobilization. That one really gets into the actual structure of these CIPs.
It does. The researchers actually used cryo-EM to create this 3D map of a CFPICI capsid.
The capsid, remind me what that is again?
Right, so the capsid is basically the protein shell that encloses the genetic material.
So they were able to see these genetic hitchhikers in detail.
They were. It's pretty amazing. And what they found was that the capsid of the CFPICI they were looking at it was called SCEDL 933.
Okay.
It was structurally very similar to the capsid of a virus called HK97.
So they look alike.
Yeah, they do. And it suggests there might be an evolutionary connection between them. Maybe CFPICIs and viruses like HK97 share a common ancestor. Or maybe they've exchanged genetic material over time. We don't know for sure yet.
So this adds yet another layer to this already super complex relationship between, like, bacteria, phages, and viruses.
Exactly. It's like this tangled, intricate web. And remember how we were talking about CFP-ICIs forming those chimeric structures with phage tails?
Yeah.
Well, the research suggests that this ability to swap components might actually extend to other viruses as well, not just phages.
Wait, are you saying they could potentially swap parts with viruses that infect humans?
It's a possibility that researchers are definitely looking into. They found CIPs that combine components from different viruses, including some that can infect us.
Okay, so what does that mean for us then? Could this lead to new diseases?
It's too early to say for sure, but it's definitely something we need to investigate further. I mean,
Okay.
understanding how these CIPs form and the potential for these genetic exchanges, it's crucial for developing effective strategies to prevent and control infectious diseases.
Hmm.
We need to understand it to be prepared.
It seems like every new discovery opens up a whole new set of questions and challenges.
That's science for you. It's always pushing the boundaries of knowledge. And as we delve deeper into these, complex systems, we need to do it carefully. We need to be thoughtful about it.
Weighing the potential benefits and risks carefully.
Right. Exactly.
It's like this delicate balance. We want to encourage innovation, but we also need to make sure development is happening responsibly.
Absolutely. And I think that responsibility goes beyond just the scientific community, too. We need to be having these open and honest conversations with the public about the implications of these advancements. Everyone needs to be informed.
So it's not just about scientists working in labs. It's about engaging society as a whole in these discussions.
It has to be, because ultimately the future of these technologies and their impact on the world, it's going to be shaped by the choices we make collectively. We all have a role to play.
Well said. This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like we've learned so much about AI co-scientists, bacterial evolution, and this totally fascinating world of CIPs.
It's been great exploring these topics with you.
I mean, we've seen the amazing potential of these advancements, but we've also talked about the importance of responsible development and those ethical considerations, which I think are super important.
Right, we have to proceed thoughtfully. As we move forward, approaching these technologies with a sense of wonder, but also with a healthy dose of caution, I think that's key.
We have to be mindful of the potential impact on humanity, right?
Yeah.
And make sure we're using these powerful tools for good.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed exploring these topics with us.
Stay curious, keep learning, and let's see what the future holds. There's so much more to discover.
Until next time, everyone, keep exploring the world around you. There's always something new to learn.